Dr. Steenblock, I've got a patient who is interested in an anti-aging program. Why should they come see you?
I tell you, it's a tough question for how do you differentiate yourself from everybody else? I guess that's really what you're asking. I started thinking about aging when I was 4 years of age, can you believe? And I started thinking about death and what could we do as a human, what I could do as a human being to help prevent that. I looked at my mother, who I was madly in love with at the time, and I remember to this moment sitting beside her playing. She played the piano and we sang together. And here I am, 4 years of age, and she's singing, and I just was full of love for her, and I was so much in love with her. I did not want to ever see her go away from my life, because she was the love of my life at that point, and we had such a great time together. And so, but I knew about death because I lived on the farm, and we had animals dying and whatever, and so it was not something that was unheard of for me to consider that. And so I started thinking about that and started thinking, what could I do in my life to help prevent that from my mother, for anybody else, including myself. And so in a way, I'm kind of self-serving in the sense that I want to stay alive and stay healthy. And so I spent my life trying to learn as much as I can to keep myself alive and keep you alive and keep us all as healthy as possible. So, so what does that mean? I don't know. It means that I've spent a lot of time and effort getting to the point where I am, and much more than most anybody else. So I can go on for an hour about all the things I've done and studied, et cetera, et cetera. And if the person running this camera wants to run around and take pictures of my lab, my libraries, and all the things that I've got going here in my clinic, then I think that would be quite impressive, because I've got the largest, I think the largest medical library, personal library of any doctor in the country, if not the world. I've got my own personal stem cell laboratory, which virtually no other doctor in this country has. I've got the best team of people to help me, help take care of people. I've got hyperbaric oxygen. I've got external counterpulsating. I've got every kind of tool that I can come up with to help stem cells work better for you. And I've got the ability, and I've done more stem cells than virtually anybody else, well over 7,000 cases. I started doing stem cells in about 2000, so that's I've been at it for 19 years. For about 17 years I've done nothing but stem cells, so I'm the first stem cell specialist in the country. And you know, now everybody says that they're stem cell specialists when they've taken a weekend course in how to do fat extraction and mix a little bit of enzymes in it and give you stem cells from fat. So they're now all experts. But you know, I've been there when it was not accepted. I've been attacked for my use of stem cells already. I was attacked before by the FDA for my use with hyperbaric oxygen and stroke. And I was the first one in the country, if not the world, to do hyperbaric oxygen and stroke. That got me into rejuvenation of basically damaged brains. And so I spent 10 years doing hyperbaric oxygen and stroke with the whole comprehensive stroke center. And we had people coming from all over the world, because I was the only one to have all that kind of therapy at the time. No stem cells were available, and the only thing that worked was a discovery of mine was that hyperbaric oxygen given daily over about a 2-month period of time would produce tremendous results in people with stroke. Well, from there I then went on into stem cells, because people who had had a stroke were always interested, well, what else can I do? I've gotten a lot better, but I still need to get even better. And so they were basically asking me all the time, what else can we do? And so I came up with stem cells to help them. And in addition to stem cells, I came up with growth factors like a compound called cerebrolysine, which is an extract of embryonic pig brain, which has all kinds of growth factors that help the stem cells grow and help the brain regenerate. And that's now an approved drug in many, many countries around the world. And it's a great product. And so there's all these different things that I put together to help a person with brain damage, but also for the person who's just getting older. There's a lot of things to know, and here's just a recent paper out of Nature Cell Biology, turning back time with emerging rejuvenation strategies. And some of the people out there claim that if you give just 300 million stem cells at one time that works. And it does help a lot, so I'm not arguing that. But you can also make it work better with less money, because 300 million stem cells is pretty expensive. And so with less money you can take, and for example, there's in your body what are called old cells or senile cells, and the older you get, the more of those you have. And that's because our body's cells only can replicate or divide and multiply about 50 times in your whole lifetime. And if they do that, then that's about the end of it, and the cells cannot repair, they cannot regenerate, they cannot replicate, they cannot duplicate themselves, and so they just sit in your body festering, and they're old, they're not able to do anything, but they generate a lot of what are, again, inflammatory cytokines that cause the inflammation of aging. And so they take up space. Up to 40% of any of your organs can have these senile cells in your body when you're like 75, 80 years old. So you can have a lot of cells in your body that are just not working anymore, and you don't know it. And those are called senile cells. And you can now, there's new techniques that we've developed to help actually eliminate those from your body. So what I do when you come is we put you through a process of eliminating as many of those old cells as we can, and then after we take those out, then we put in new cells that will take the place of those old cells, so that now you have a much more complete regeneration of your whole system, your whole body. So it's quite, it's only a one-day event, but that you can't obviously get everything done in one day, but it's a good start, and at least you get to know us, and you get some improvement, and then you can see that the more of that you do, the better you're going to be. And right now, I don't think there's really too much reason for us to get older, as long as we have the money and time to come to somebody like me who knows what they're doing, and puts you through all these different therapies, and takes out the old, puts in the new, and takes out the bad and puts in the good. And when you do all that, you're going to stay alive and healthy for a lot longer than you ever would think possible.